Man, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I've been down ill for a couple of days. I think I got COVID for like the 5th time. Still not jabbed, though. Hashtag pure blood. It's the way it works. You know, it's just the flu. We get over it quick. But anyway, I've been a little bit down. But today, what we're going to be talking about is there is news out of the true crime world. We're going to be talking about Paul Grice, whatever the fuck his name is. He's the 5th person arrested in the murder of the 2 Kansas moms who was murdered in, I believe, Oklahoma. Guys, I'm JB This is Crime Time. We're gonna get right on into this. Man, I feel like I ain't been on this mic in months. But anyways, before we get started, I want to say first and foremost, thank you to everybody that supports the channel. Hell, any of my channels, regardless of platform, regardless of method you choose, whether it's Cash App, Patreon, Venmo, PayPal. Truth is, guys, I couldn't do this each and every day as often as I do if it wasn't for you, the Gun Squad. Hell, we're on the 18th year, and despite all the cancellations, all the takedowns, you motherfuckers are the ones that keep this thing going. I love you guys. The Gun Squad appreciates you so much. That's why I don't have to rely on Google AdSense, or I don't have to be politically correct because of y'all. You guys are the ones that, well, make it worth my while. So thank you very much. And if you too find my content valuable, feel free to hit the links down below. Join the Gun Squad, support the channel. You can also find some of my other content, my other channels down there as well. Anyway, we're not going to waste too much time here. I'll try to get through this as quickly as possible for you folks today. We got a 5th suspect arrested in the killings of the 2 women in rural Oklahoma. And by the way, yes, I know you want me to talk about the Idaho 4, but there's no new Idaho 4 news. You're just going to have to fucking get over it. It is what it is. I'm not going to make it up like everybody else. I'm just going to continue moving forward. All right? So anyway, the 5th suspect has been arrested, and we saw his name pop up in court documents. 5th suspect has been arrested in connection with the killings of 2 Kansas women who were found buried in a cattle pasture in rural Oklahoma earlier this month. I didn't actually know they were found buried in a cattle pasture. That's the first I've actually heard of that. A crime prosecutors say was motivated by a bitter custody battle. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation said Wednesday, 31-year-old Paul Grice was arrested and taken to jail on 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree. CNN has been unable to determine if Grice has legal counsel at this time. Grice was interviewed and admitted to taking part in the planning and killing. Why would anybody admit to this? They got their arrest affidavit. Let me see if we can pull it up there. He also admitted to participating in their burial, according to the affidavit. Why in the fuck would anybody admit to murder? This is a legit question. Like, why would you admit to anything and throw your life away? This arrest comes 11 days after the other 4 was arrested. Look, man, serious question. I wouldn't admit, and I wouldn't admit to jaywalking. I don't understand why anybody would admit to a crime, let alone a crime that's going to take away the rest of your life. And listen, I don't want to hear you dumb motherfuckers in the true crime community say, it's the right thing to do for justice, JB. You're a homo. It doesn't matter what's the right thing to do to you cocksuckers. It's stupid to throw away your life. Like, self-preservation should matter to every human being. And I know what you're saying. So you're saying you're upset because he admitted it? No, but I'm saying he's fucking stupid for it. No, of course I'm happy we got a killer off the street. But it doesn't mean that it's not dumb. It doesn't mean that he's not stupid. Because even if you got a conscience, first of all, if you got a conscience, I highly doubt you would plan and execute a murder plot against 2 broads, right? There's a lot of you bitches and hoes I hate, and I have never plotted to murder any of you. Nor would I, because I don't think you're worth my time. I don't want to be that away from the PlayStation 5 that long. I don't want to take any chances on me being in a place where I can't drink whiskey and shit, right? So no, I wouldn't personally. Here's the thing. If you have the morals or the lack of morals to where you would commit that crime, you might as well go all the way and not tell on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a single person in here. Well, I have to admit, some of you people are always like, turn yourself in, it'll be easier on you. You guys are liars and full of shit, and that's why you love public defenders and suck their dicks all day, because you guys are fucking stupid. You're big dummies. Because no, it's not the way it went. It goes. I had a warrant for 4 years and was facing a good amount of time. And after that 4 years, you know, they forgot. And so they just to get me through the system and get it over with, they threw me a very small amount of time. I was supposed to go for 3 years. They threw to me a year due 6 months. So of course I signed it. Of course I signed it. So sometimes running works. There's been cases I've ran on and the case just gets dismissed. Because, you know, time runs out. Witnesses or whoever decides not to show up anymore, but everybody's moved on with their life. You see what I'm saying? So this weird thing that you guys are like, if you just turn yourself in, it'll be easier on you. You guys are fucking stupid. You're dummies. That's just what you try to tell people to convince them to do what the fuck you want them to do. But I do not understand why any person, and I want you guys in the comment section to be honest. If you killed somebody and you knew you were facing life in prison or the death penalty, would you confess to the crime? Is there anyone here that would confess to something that's going to put you in prison, which essentially ends your life? I don't believe, and I think anyone that says yes in the comment section is a goddamn liar. Not a single one of us gives so little of a fuck about our lives that we would be like, yeah, fuck it, I'll just tell him. I'll just say fuck it, I'll give up the rest of my life. Nobody here would do that. And anybody that says they would probably is a goddamn liar, but I still want to hear you say it anyway. See what the news is saying. What's old Cuomo saying?
We've got breaking news in the case
Cuomo.
of the two
Cuomo's looking really different today. They both still look feminine as shit, but go ahead.
Kansas moms Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly, who were murdered while on their way to pick up Butler's 2 kids in a custody visit that turned deadly. We've been covering this one for weeks. Veronica had been in this nasty custody battle with the paternal grandmother of her children, Tiffany Adams, who was arrested on April 13th, along with 3 others. The group, known to call themselves as God's Misfits. Well, today, a 5th suspect in connection with...
I just want to say this God's Misfits thing, there's like a cheap imitation of the Devil's Rejects, right? Anybody ever seen the Devil's Rejects? A House of 1,000 Corpses and 3 from Hell or whatever the fuck it was called? You know what I mean? You know, the Rob Zombie movies. I kind of feel like they labeled them the God's Misfits. It has a feeling. It has that, and they feel like the Devil's Rejects type people. It's just what I get out of it.
Murders. This man you see right here was also now arrested. 31-year-old. He's a father of 3. Paul Grice is his name. And we're told that he confessed to police yesterday.
Father of 3. Imagine being a father of... Well, that's probably why he confessed. He's like, fuck this wife and fuck these kids. I gotta get out. Y'all. How do I get away from these dummies? I gotta be a dummy. I think that's probably it. He said, man, fuck this family shit.
That he was involved in the planning, the killing, and the burying of the moms. Also, I have some exclusive new information on how the women were murdered. I want to bring in News Nation national security contributor, retired FBI special agent, Tracy Walder. Tracy, it's always good to see you. First thing I want to ask you, I thought it was interesting with Paul Grice, the 5th arrest now. Police are saying that he also confessed, that they went out and interviewed him yesterday, and that he confessed to his involvement. Grandma Tiffany apparently also confessed.
Damn!
Why do you think they're all confessing? I mean, a lot of times you'd think they'd just stay silent.
Right, dummies.
So that's a great question, Brian. It's good to see you. I think a lot of this really goes back to that God's misfit affiliation, and that has to do with being sovereign citizens. And they feel that what they did needed to be done and was necessary because they don't trust the government. They don't believe in the government. Therefore, they needed to intervene.
I don't trust the government. I don't believe in the government. That don't mean I'm going to tell on myself. Bro, I've done shit y'all would never know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, look, I believe in being real 100% of the time, unless it puts my freedom in jeopardy. Then I'll lie like a motherfucker. I'll lie. JB, did you do something illegal? Hell no, I didn't do nothing illegal. Never have. I've never done anything illegal, ever. It's never happened.
I'm not saying that's right, but I think that's where their mind's at in regards to these confessions.
The other new information we're able to confirm now, Tracy, is that the two victims were not shot. We don't know the exact cause of death or how they died, but we did confirm through the medical examiner that they were not shot. What do you make of that? Because when I first heard that, it just, I don't know, my heart went out. I'm just thinking, I think it might have been a very, very brutal killing.
Yeah.
You're kind of hoping if they were shot, it was quick and painless.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And that was something that I talked about with Dan Abrams a week or two ago, kind of really discussing why it took so long, quite frankly, to identify their bodies. And I want to be sensitive about this, but there's rumors, I don't know if it's true or not, that there was a broken hammer at the scene. And if that is the case, then...
Damn, they hammered those motherfuckers to death. Jesus.
It sounds perhaps they were bludgeoned to death. And that takes time to really figure out identifications with dental records. And so that's what I felt all along, is that they were not shot. They were beaten in some way, which is absolutely horrific.
Yeah, we've also reported that there were large puddles of blood at the scene where the car was discovered, and that there was also blood inside the car. So it's looking more and more like it was really just a brutal, brutal murder. I want to take you inside the mind of this new suspect, though, Paul Grice. And you mentioned God's Misfits, this anti-government religious cult group they were a part of. We managed to get our hands on a land record that Paul filed last summer. This was a public document, and I want to read you part of it, Tracy, because it gives you an idea of what he thought and believed and what kind of person he was. It says, I repudiate and revoke my citizenship, if any ever existed, with the legal fiction known as the United States government.
Goddamn.
I claim my children as my God-given property and subject to none other. Government did not create my children and therefore does not control my children. God created my children in their mother's womb with my sperm and are my creation, my property, and I waive none of my God-given rights or duties in the upbringing of my offspring.
I agree with that.
This is something that this fifth suspect...
No, I agree with that, and I believe parents should be able to do that. You can't force me. Don't force me to fucking vaccinate my children, shit like that. Well, okay, you gotta get them vaccinated if you want them to come to public school. Okay, well then fuck public school. Just let me homeschool them. 100% agree with a parent's rights to raise their kid as long as they're not harming them, raping them, killing them. Hey,
filed as part of a land record, but. I guess this just goes back to the God's Misfits group. It kind of shows you what these folks were believing.
Yeah.
Right, and so what
they're not wrong,
really the key word
actually.
there, legal fiction, that's how they view society. It exists not in real life. It is just...
It doesn't. It's all the social construct. Why do you think I don't give any fuck when any of you people watching, unless you pay me or suck my dick, think about me? Because your views of not just myself, but of anybody, it's just a social construct. Period. I don't give any fuck what place I fit in your societal view, or what you think I should be or think I shouldn't be, or whether I'm politically correct or not, or whatever. I 100% agree with these people. And so, yeah. A lot of societal norms are fiction. A lot of societal trends are fiction. A lot of societal expectations are fiction. It's just all made up. It's not real. It's all made up. And if these motherfuckers can say gender is a social construct, then goddamn it, if they can say that, then I can say everything else is. I'm just being honest.
Simply a construct that was made by someone that they don't have to answer to.
Exactly.
And that's really kind of what the sovereign citizens are about too, although I know it's kind of two separate groups that we're looking at here. And as a result, they have a tendency to take the law into their own hands. Yeah. And I think in this case,
the people, bitch.
They believed every step of the way that the legal system was taking these kids from them, and they needed to get these kids back because those kids were their property and belonged to them in this sort of...
Yeah, but I don't see, this is where I don't find them to be accurate. Is because the property would be the property of the mother and the father. Not whoever all these weirdos are. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of these people that you see pictured here, none of these 5 people are the mother or the father. So they're weird as fuck. Why? I mean...
world simulation.
Wow, just disturbing. You saw the 5 suspects now. There's now 5 suspects. I mentioned that Grandma Tiffany confessed early on in a recorded statement. Do you think that she's the mastermind from what we know behind this whole thing. Do you think she's trying to work a deal behind the scenes? Because the death penalty could be on the table to avoid the death penalty. Is she the reason that they figured out that Paul Grice had enough involvement to be arrested? You think she's talking to them right now behind the scenes?
Probably.
Yes and no. So you have to remember, this is a group that doesn't like the government. So I actually am thinking that they're not being compliant with the government, quite frankly, because they don't trust them. They don't believe.
Nah, listen. All that shit changes once you get behind bars and you get to dealing with the government in your face. It's easy to be anti-government right now. I've been this way my whole life. But when you get in front of their face, that's when you find out who you really are. If you can look in the... Look, I have several batteries on officers in my youth. Because once you're put in that moment, and that's when you either act or you don't act. Most people don't. Most people just cry, get cuffed, and they go and do their things, right? Now, thank God I've calmed down a little bit, but I still feel the exact same way. If you're a cop, you're a public servant, bitch. I pay you. Your job is to protect and serve, not to bother me or interrupt my life. You are not my authority, as Jonathan Lee Richards calls you. You're not my authority. You never have been. You are my servant. I pay you. That's the way it works. And there's a lot of things. The truth of this is, those that put the government over we the people are the ones who are going to clearly be slaves to the government. That's just the truth. We the people are the fucking country. We are the authority.
I don't think they have any power over them. So I would be, and I could be surprised, right, that she's just rolling over and admitting everything and turning suspects over. I think this came from the 16-year-old daughter, and they were trying to track him down. Too. And my guess is it was difficult to track him down.
She's probably right.
That's why this took a bit longer. But I'm not sure that any of them are flipping on each other yet, simply because of their mistrust of the government and the legal system.
Yeah, and I was out there, Tracy, talking to a number of people. Everybody knows everybody out there, and heard the same thing over and over again when it came to Grandma Tiffany and her boyfriend Tad, that people were intimidated by them, got a bad vibe many times. But in terms of Paul Grice, the 5th suspect, we heard a lot of really nice things, that he was a family man, that he was a hard worker, that they didn't really think he was involved. So the community seems to be really, really shocked by this, Tracy.
I mean, look, it's hard to sometimes know what someone's doing behind closed doors, right? And if this is someone that did share that core ideology, he may not have been an aggressive person.
Right.
He may not have been a violent person. But when it comes to children, and again, he stated in that statement, they are his property and his property alone. They will do violent things.
Yeah.
Any chance you think that there could be more suspects involved? Because they've said it's an open investigation, so...
Nah.
You know, in my opinion, no. I don't know that there's going to be any suspects directly involved in the murders themselves, but there may be other kind of co-conspirators that may come out as a result of this. But I think the main murder suspects, those who participated in the deaths, are in custody now.
Yeah, I mean, motherfuckers that take to murder 2 bitches.
Hey, thank you for...
So, I mean, it's just 2 broads. It doesn't take... I mean, hell, I'm surprised at that. It's a lot of people right there. Oh, look, man, wild shit. I don't understand why they would confess, but it is what it is. It looks like this case is closing pretty quickly. Looks to me like they beat them with a hammer and dragged their asses and buried them in a cow pasture. Shit. That's wild, man. And it's even crazier because none of the parents were actually involved. This is another problem. This is why I don't like mothers-in-laws and shit like that. Because grandmas always think they have some sort of say-so over some shit. I'm not joking with you, man. You can ask any relationship I've ever been in. I don't do the mother-in-laws. Because your mother has had so much control over you all their life, they think that somehow they can control my shit. You know what I'm saying? They want to know what's going on in my house that I pay the bills in. And then they want to be able to insert their control. Nah, bitch, this is my shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know you. I don't give a shit. You don't suck my dick. I don't owe you any answers. Just because you made the bitch I'm currently fucking doesn't give you any authority in my place, any say-so. Your opinion doesn't matter, bitch. I don't know you. This is one of those examples where one of them goddamn grandmas thought that she had to say so, and she took it a little too far, I would say. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are. I'm JB Gunner, this is Crime Time. If you like what I do here and you find my content valuable, feel free to hit the links down below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.